Let's take a look at our top selections for Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, Saturday's feature race at Aqueduct. Race number 3, we're going to take a look at the field for the Save Florida Sandy Stakes. $100,000 is the purse. New York breds going 7/8 of a mile. Remember, no Lasix for any of these stakes horses in New York, but we do have an overwhelming favor on David Aragona's morning line, and a deserving one. The one funny guy is 3-5. He just took the measure of my boy Tate in a race without much pace, and he might have to overcome a lack of pace this time around as well.
Yeah, that's true, Dan. There isn't a ton of pace in this race, so I guess that could work against Funny Guy at a short price. It didn't work against him last time. And really, just going back to the beginning of 2020, Save the Empire Classic 2 back where they tried to stretch him out. This horse has been stellar.
He's been consistent. You can do anything you want with him. You know he's going to come with a good, strong kick. He's even performed very well against open company and just fits like a glove in this condition. We'll take a look at the Timeform U.S. pace projector because we are not expecting a lot of pace. It is a blue bar scenario, which favors horses on or near the early lead. And, Mike, I guess the 4 running with scissors will cut out the fractions.
I guess he will. We'll see. I suppose they'll go forward. Dan, I won't be surprised if the 2 and the 3 were forward as well.
Let's talk a little bit about Funny Guys. Win last time out in the New York Stallion Series was really a strong performance. 7/8 might very well be his best distance. Let's watch that race right now. There wasn't a lot of pace. He was in behind horses on the turn. Now he has to swing to the outside, and my boy Tate, who's in this race, just had a dream trip, I thought. He tracked Binkster, who was a 21-1 shot. You see him faltering near the back of the pack. My boy Tate looks absolutely home. The fractions were to his liking. Funny Guy was just better on this day.
Yeah, he was, Dan. You're right. And my boy Tate ran well on this race. He did get a very good trip. He also really ran through the stretch. And based on that evidence, it's pretty hard to want to try to beat Funny Guy with my boy Tate this time, just considering the trips that they got in there and the race that Funny Guy ran. And that's really saying something, I think, Dan, because my boy Tate feels like he's the horse that Funny Guy probably has to beat again in this spot. It just makes him sort of a very, very strong favorite in this race.
Perhaps our last buck, the number 2's coming up to this race the right way. He's won his last 3 tries on fast dirt, including this effort in the fog, an entry-level allowance race for Michelle Nevin on December the 12th. The 1-turn mile, he got relatively close to this pace. He takes over in the stretch, and he's on his way. He'll now have to face tougher horses. He's going to step up into the stakes ranks for the first time, but this horse is in good form right now.
He's in good form right now. He has also some pretty good tactical speed that could really play to his advantage in this race. And they're just kind of stepping him up at the right time, I think, Dan. He had a really good 2020, sort of rising in class. He kept improving. He ran well last time. I wasn't blown away by that performance, but it was another new top figure for him. And it was a nice bounce back effort off of his prior race where he got a really tough trip and didn't run as poorly as it looks.
I think it's fascinating that my boy Tate is wheeling back on only 1 week's notice. He was the beaten favorite last week in the Gravesend. Now, in his prior race, the race we just saw, the New York Stallion Series, we both agree he ran very well. And going into the Gravesend, to look like he was going to get a similar trip, which he did get. He got a wet track, which he loves, and for one reason or another, he didn't fire. Can you make the case that the Lasix off took a little of the shine off this horse?
You know what? That's actually a very good point, Dan. There has to be something that you can point to if you want to bet him back in this race, not only because he was so bad in the Gravesend just last Saturday, but, again, going back to that Thunder Rumble 2 starts back where, I mean, if he was ever going to beat Funny Guy, wasn't he going to beat him that day? It was over this distance, over this track. He sat right up there, kicked clear in the stretch, still couldn't hold that horse off. To me, it makes him pretty tough to take back in this race, but I still feel like he's the likeliest alternative to the favorite.
Trainer Jeffrey Engelhardt's done a very nice job with the 4 running with scissors. A New York bred who actually was stakes placed on 2 occasions at Emerald Downs, of all places, earlier in his career. This horse really seems to like Aqueduct. He's 2 for 2 in 2020 at the Big A, including this victory, getting through his non-winners at 2 other than condition. Now, he got a really nice trip in this race. There's not a lot of pace. There's a 20-1 shot carving out the pace, and he's sitting right off, and he'll forge by when it counts.
Yeah, he's going to get the job done here. No, you can see just no closers coming at the end of this race. So sitting up close to the pace as he did was a real advantage for him. And it also helped that one of his major rivals in the race just totally missed the break. So You know, listen, he did what he had to do in there. It's 2 wins in a row for this horse. They're stepping him up at the right time. He's got to improve again, and he's got to improve a lot.
When I saw Celtic Chaos's name in the entries, I wanted to give him a chance based on his back class and the fact that he will come running late. Let's watch his last race. This is an open, solid, optional $80,000 claimer. He's at the back of the pack. He's widest, and that's him. He needs pace. And then you look at this race. It's a short field. There's not a lot of pace. I'm just not sure he gets the setup.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's going to set up great for him. And I mean, clearly, Dan, he's a horse with a lot of back class who has races that would make him really tough in here. It doesn't feel like he's quite that horse anymore. His recent form since they brought him back, you know, in the summer of 2020, it's fine. They're just not really fast races, Dan. He's got to find a way to, you know, take a step forward here, and he's going to need a setup as well.
We hate to chalk out, but we'll throw up our picks for the Say Florida Sandy Stakes. And Funny Guy is just simply the horse to beat in here. And we have the same exacta. I think the 2 will be forwardly placed, and I think Funny Guy is going to run him down. Mike, you're going 1, 2, 3, and 5.
I mean, I feel like it's kind of the only way to play it, Dan. I mean, again, it's really hard to take my boy Tate to beat Funny Guy this time, you know, and he's going to be the second choice in here. Perhaps our last buck will just run one of his good races here and get a piece, but I can't bet against the favorite.
1, 2, 3, 5 again for Mike. 1, 2, 4, 5 for me. It's the Say Florida Sandy, race 3 at Aqueduct on Saturday. Best of luck.